Hey everybody, welcome to the Ruckus Room.
Unleash the power! Unleash the power!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ruckus Room. I'm here with a guest today. Hi Tally, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
We're good. We're going to create a little ruckus again, I think, because we're going to start talking about the Flagler County school bus system again. That seems to be a hot topic right now, and people are coming forward to talk about their stories. And yours is very interesting because it can relate to an elementary school student, which we had mentioned earlier on the show, if God forbid things were happening with the little ones. How old is your child?
My daughter's 8.
8 years old. So please explain to me some of the issues you've been having with this bus system recently.
So aside from the typical issues that seems like everyone's dealing with, the scheduling and the fact that buses aren't showing up or they're showing up late, all those good things, we kind of had a unique situation. My daughter gets off the bus and she's like, "Daddy, we stopped at the gas station today." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So I'm trying to be calm at this point. She's like, "Yeah, the bus driver stopped at the gas station, let us off." And she was the oldest kid of the kids that got off of the school bus to go to a public gas station to use the bathroom while the school bus aide got off to get a slushie.
What? Wait a minute. So, I deal with my daughter 7, and even in kindergarten, these kids make up some of the most outlandish stuff. Like you're like coming home and you're like, I got to call the school. Did this really happen?
Yeah.
But you're saying that your daughter's school bus stopped at a gas station in Bunnell, got off the bus, had the kids get off the bus.
Yep.
Where did they go?
Apparently they went to the bathroom. And here's the crazy thing. I never got the full story on it where all the kids went. But I know several children got off to use the bathroom. And here's the deal. I'm a former cop, so my perspective on society is slightly different.
Oh, yeah.
I don't let my daughter go to a bathroom in a gas station without me standing outside the door like a guard.
Right.
Like,
especially a one that's had shootings and different things added to that and questionable activity. That one's been in several different instances or in the news. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, yeah.
I would be so irate if somebody took my daughter off a bus without letting me know. And
they shouldn't get off the bus, period, from between the... I don't care if she pees her pants on the bus. She should not be off the bus between the school and her bus stop when I take custody of her.
Yeah.
That is not okay.
And I've never heard anything like this. So when your daughter went to the bathroom or the kids went to the bathroom and came back with the assistant who obviously had a slushie, then what happened?
I guess they got back on the bus and kept on going to the different stops. And then my daughter got off. And apparently this was the second time this happened.
What?
My daughter didn't tell me the first time, which that's a whole nother set of issues.
So what happened the first time, though?
Apparently the same thing.
And they just stopped to get a drink and then the kids go to the bathroom?
Went to the bathroom. I guess the kids had to go to the restroom. And then they got back on the bus and just kept on going. And I guess my daughter didn't think to tell me the first time.
Well, and they probably, so at this age also, you're dealing with elementary kids. They might think that this is fun, and they're, why I tell mommy, daddy, I'm at school. Yeah. They trust who they're with. That's the biggest thing with this. So when you called, who did you call first? Like when your child got home and told you this, like I would have been calling everybody in the mayor.
Well, I did try. So when I found out about this, you couldn't get a hold of anyone at that point. Tried calling the bus, tried calling the principal's office, tried calling the guidance. I tried calling every link phone number because I was about to lose my Christianity over the whole thing. Yeah. Like, that's my baby.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, I feel the same way about my child.
And then, so the next day I did talk with I can't remember her name. She's actually amazing. I called her. It's a school bus transportation people.
Yeah.
I called her and I said, "Hey, this is my situation. Before I even keep going, I'm very angry. I'm going to try and talk to you. Am I wrong on my understanding that this is appropriate or not?" And she's like, "No, that's absolutely not." And then it went to the next person up and they handled it, which I got to give the people in charge kudos. They jumped on it and handled this.
Well, yes, because they were doing something that was definitely not what was held to standard. Yeah, I'm sure.
Absolutely. So they did. At least they stepped up, and this is the. I have a lot of respect for these people, especially the situation going through. They're substantially underpaid. They're paid like $17 an hour.
You're talking about the bus drivers in Flagler County?
The bus drivers, yeah.
Okay.
So the bus drivers in Flagler County are paid like $17 an hour, and they get, I think they're guaranteed like 6 hours or 4 hours a day. It's not, I mean, everyone's contracts are different. I mean, you go next door to Volusia County, the bus drivers pay $21 an hour.
They're a lot more in St. Augustine, too, they make, too.
Yeah, and then I know the bus, they're like 7 bus drivers short, and they have no substitutes.
So the lady said that they're 7 drivers short right now in Flagler County area in general.
Yeah.
And that was her excuse as to why the driver would be stopping at the, okay.
No, that wasn't her excuse. That's my, afterwards.
Did you get a response from anybody as to why that was going on, or that they're sorry, or that other family members were getting notified that your child might have been off of a bus at a gas station in Bunnell?
So
I mean, there's so many questions.
There's a lot. There's a lot there to unpack.
I know.
So they immediately agreed this was highly inappropriate, very wrong. It's against school policy, against the transportation policy, all the blah, 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 all that stuff. So they did tell me that they spoke with the bus driver, and the bus driver was, he didn't understand why it was a bad thing to stop the school bus. He didn't
wonder if he has children.
I don't know. It's a very good question, but he didn't quite understand, and to the point that he actually resigned because he didn't agree that he's not allowed to take kids off of the bus to use the bathroom. The guy actually resigned, so he doesn't even work for the school bus.
Okay, so I'm going to have you stop right there, and this brings me back to, Alan, we had talked about this. The Flagler County bus system, when they are trained, these drivers, did somebody miss something in this man's training to say you can't take kids on field trips without permission slips?
I think what we found out, actually, was that they're not properly trained.
Yeah. We had an instance a few months ago where a mother from one of the childs that was getting bullied, she claimed her son was getting bullied, approached another high school student at the bus stop, then got pissed off, put a hoodie over her head, got onto a school bus, and pretended to be a student and told them all that she was going to basically beat their ass if they did that again. Meanwhile, she pretended to be a student, got on a school bus. The bus driver then picks up everybody, goes to school. Never reported it because she didn't think that that was what they're supposed to do. The fact that your bus driver can stop at a gas station, have little elementary school children get off and go to the bathroom, hell no. Okay, yeah. That's horrible. And the fact that you have to explain that to an adult who you're supposed to be trusting with your child.
Yeah.
I see a lot of holes through this, you know?
Yeah.
Goes back to training.
It goes back to training, but I also think it goes back to a huge lack in proper staffing in our school systems in several different areas. But busing is what's driving me personally nuts. I mean, the supervisors, they're driving the buses themselves now because they don't have enough bus drivers. So they can't even, the supervisors themselves don't even have the ability to do their jobs because they're being spread thin that they're driving the buses.
Yep.
So at what point, I don't even blame the supervisors. I don't even blame the people who are in charge of the actual buses. There's such a shortage that they can't even do their job. They're
not even training. They're just throwing you on a bus. Obviously,
because they're taking anyone they can get at this point.
Exactly, and nobody's getting training to keep our children safe, which is the biggest thing about this whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, my kids are my everything. I do everything just because of them.
So what other parents were notified about this?
Just the parent. Well, I only know the parents on our stop that we were just talking about it, because like, what just happened? I mean, I'm friends with several people.
So people on this bus that have kids have still probably no idea that
happened.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's no like official notification put out.
That's the other thing, transparency. We're talking about transparency, and there's no transparency with the Flagler transportation or a lot that's going on with the school district and everything regarding different things. Which is insane. So if anyone has a child on what bus, do you know the color?
Shoot, I don't even. It's some animal. I don't.
It's some animal.
Yeah.
Anyone that stops by the Bunnell gas station, you might want to ask your kids if they've had a field trip recently, because that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
And is there any other issues? Like, have they talked about overcrowding? Because I know with some of the other problems, kids are standing in the aisles while the bus is riding because there's too many kids in the seats. Like, do you have that in elementary school at all?
So my daughter hasn't said anything about overcrowding necessarily. They do say they're combining 2 routes together, which means she's supposed to be dropped off, I think, like 4:10 in the afternoon. And so there's sometimes where it's closer to 5 o'clock when she finally gets.
Do you guys get alerts that they're even going to be late?
So we do have this bus tracker app, which works about 50% of the time.
5 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. And so then it jumps back to, all right, well, she's been on the bus for an hour and a half. Now I understand why she had to go to the bathroom. So it's this giant conundrum.
But the other huge thing is, why are children that are elementary school on a bus for over an hour? There's something wrong with this. There is a huge problem with this. They shouldn't be on a bus for an hour. They just were at school all day. You guys are trusting to come home. And if they weren't stopping at gas stations to go to the bathroom, maybe they would be home a little sooner, which then shows everybody's schedule off too.
Exactly. I'm either own or run 4 businesses.
Yeah.
I just need to know my life schedule. So I spoke about this yesterday with the lady who answers the phone for the transportation, and I fully sympathize with her. I think she's a great person. I think they're trying their best
with what they have.
But with what they have. But how do these people work with their hands tied behind their back? And why are we underpaying our bus drivers? Why are we
Here's
not
another
having
question.
sufficient people?
Why aren't we outsourcing and hiring people with other transportation services to help us until we can get caught up and
See, I
fully
didn't even
trained?
think about that.
Yeah, you can hire or source out and get bus drivers to come in this area, and you can pay them through private entities. You can also do that to make sure, all of our bus drivers are up to par on training and give them time to be able to do that. Make sure all the routes are being picked up when they're supposed to be. Make sure there's not overcrowding, because we've obtained videos that shows on a high school bus, the kids standing in the aisle, how unsafe it is. They're whacking each other in the back of the head. They're like, this whole entire, you hit a bump
insane.
and these kids go flying. You're watching these videos. Some of them we couldn't show because it shows kids' faces, but there's so many of them.
Wow.
Kids that are getting dropped off a mile plus away from their original bus stop and having to walk home.
Well, that's another problem.
We have no sidewalks.
I'm going to go vent on that for a second.
Yeah.
So there was this little boy on my daughter's bus stop the other day that was dropped off, and the bus left, and the parent, I don't know where the parent, I guess they were late or whatever.
Well, obviously, if they had to wait 45 minutes and they're used to being there, maybe they went and did something else because they had no idea.
Exactly. So this little boy, he's got to be no older than 8.
Oh.
He's just left at the bus stop. So I'm like, kudos to the kid, because I was like, hey, do you want me to take you home? Like, let me drop you off at your house? And he's like, no, I'm not getting your car. I'm so great for the kid. The
Yeah.
parents have obviously taught him well.
Yeah.
But I had to actually, I'm like, all right, you start walking home. I'll drive behind you. And then when you get into your house, because I don't have the mom's number. And I don't blame the parent, because we don't know the schedule. It can be we never know when they're going to show up. I've missed the bus because I expected to be 45 minutes late, and it
Has
actually
this
be on
been
time.
since the beginning of the school year that the school bus has been so jacked, the schedule?
Probably since a month into the school year. The
Yeah.
first month was kind of all right, and then
Yeah.
it's just going downhill. And I know they're hoping to recalibrate during this spring break. They got 10 days to try and get it together, and I know they're trying, but something's got to give.
I want to know, the bigger question is, why do they keep leaving? Why are they not trained, and why are these drivers? Is it because of the pay? Then you need to fix it. Is it because they're just coming on and not getting trained, and then they get in trouble for stuff like that, and they're just not all together up there? Like, I'm almost wondering if they're even doing backgrounds at this point, because if they're just hiring anyone and throwing them in, that would be some good questions to what is really going on in the inside.
No, absolutely.
Did that little boy end up making it home?
Yeah, he made it home, and it was a funny thing. So you see this. Man, I have a big truck. So you see this big truck following this little kid all the way home. So then the other day he came up and was like, can I help you? I'm like, I'm just making sure he gets in his house. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, I know the kid's parents. I'm like, can you please call him and like let him know, hey, he got into his house. But we got to watch out for our children.
Yeah.
Like, that's our
They're the
most vulnerable.
elementary kids. We're not talking about high school kids.
These are the
And
most
even then, they're
vulnerable
not
kids.
safe.
Like, yeah, it doesn't
Did
make
they have a sidewalk for that child to walk down when he had to walk the whole way home?
No, it's
Exactly.
dirt roads.
It's in a road, right?
Yeah.
Where he can get hit by a car or something could happen and nobody could have found. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's unbelievable to me.
So yeah, I felt so bad for this little kid because he was obviously like scared too. Like,
Yeah.
the buses.
Your truck probably scared him alone.
Well, yeah. Luckily, he's seen me at the bus stop a lot of times, so he knew who I was.
Oh,
he knew
good.
he knew who my daughter was, and but it's ridiculous. Like, shouldn't we have like an official transfer of like, hey, here's your child, you're taking possession now, parent to kid. Why?
Did you ever call the school or hear back from the school? Or did you call anyone on the school board or hear back from anybody on the school board? Because 2 months ago, they had a meeting and they said that they're going to be commissioners are actually going to do route audits and actually go on the buses. And they must have missed several stops or several buses where instances are happening, such as this one.
I never heard back from any of the other people except for the bus superintendent, like whoever the bus. Oh, I don't know, the bus transportation people.
Alan, that's a big shock, isn't it?
They never talk to anybody.
No.
They're always leaving.
They're full transparent is what they say, but they're missing a couple big phone calls.
Transparent through an opaque window is what they are.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's scary though. And then the other day I saw a post. Why are these parent line pickups so long now, and what's going on with it?
That's because nobody wants to trust the buses.
You don't trust the bus systems, people. They are putting your kids in danger. They're putting drivers in that don't think that someone could just come on a bus with a hoodie on, start screaming at the kid. What if they had a gun?
Yeah.
You mean,
they're supposed to scan in. Every kid's supposed to scan in.
If I walked in a gas station and saw 6, 7, or 8-year-olds standing there waiting to use a bathroom and the bus is outside, I would wrath fury on that shit.
Yeah.
And because I have a daughter, and going to a public bathroom nowadays, it's not like it used to be.
Yeah, and I was
and the
fully
fact
ready
that
to
the parents don't even
I
know
was
about
so
this.
mad.
Oh my God, somebody would have hell to pay.
And I think because I live out in Redneckville of Flagler County, that's what I call it.
You must live out in the Mondex area.
And I think there's this idea that they're in the Mondex, so they're not educated, or they don't have money, or they don't have resources.
Bull.
If I want to hammer someone, I'm gonna hammer someone. Like, I own 4 businesses. Like, not that I want to like trying to like put my
We're
weight
not
into
inciting
it,
violence,
but my children are everything to me.
Yeah.
So thank God they responded in a proper way, at least as proper as they possibly could. But I was prepared to get an attorney and start handling it like legally.
Yep.
Because that's totally unacceptable. And now you put my daughter at risk.
Yeah.
Like, there's people, heads need a roll.
Yeah, and who's to say? I would like to know if everyone was notified that that's not allowed throughout the department of whoever works in Flagler County bus system. I'm wondering if everybody was notified we do not stop at all to go to gas stations to let children in. Like, I'm wondering if the training, what I'm saying, is actually put in place now to ensure that all the drivers are well aware of that. I mean, we've had drivers that have been driving drunk that got caught. We have drivers that are dropping kids off. Yeah, remember we had that a few months ago. Or one of the parents whose son's bus is overcrowded to the point where they're having to stand in aisles. His daughter was on a different bus at a middle school where the driver was drunk. We've got all of it in your kids are getting dropped off at random places. They're getting dropped off hours later than they're supposed to.
So,
nobody's saying anything or talking about this but us.
So that kind of blows my mind, because as a parent, I should be given all the information.
How does that blow your mind? Yet your child's sitting at a gas station waiting to go to the bathroom.
I know. I probably shouldn't
While
be surprised.
the assistant's getting a Slurpee. You can't even make this up.
I know. I was really hoping this would be an isolated incident, but
no, unfortunately, it's not.
And the thing is
this is totally systemic. It's
disgusting. It's
the school board's looking at it like, oh, it's an incident on one bus. The fact of the matter is, we've had, I don't know how many emails, how many videos, how many people talking. It's a lot of buses.
You got to see.
Might not be all buses, but it's a lot of buses.
We've got a lot of parents waiting to come on.
This is a problem from drunk drivers who, I don't think that guy's with them anymore.
No.
But from drunk drivers to people, in your instance, people letting them off at bathrooms. I mean,
people get
no training, and then the lady that came on in a hoodie,
threatening kids
on a bus, didn't flash any badge or anything to get on the bus, and when she got off the bus driver just drove away
and pretended like nothing happened.
So what if that was
exactly my point?
Exactly.
And then you wonder why the lines are busy at school and why people are choosing to pick up their child or homeschool them so they don't have to deal with this crap.
So here's my question. I mean, because I'm kind of like, let's solve the problem type of person. How do we fix this? Like, what
show up to a school board meeting or a transportation meeting.
I don't think they want me showing up.
No, they don't want any of us showing up.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the problem. They think that, and no one's talking about this. I mean, you throw a little blimp article in the Observer. Not everyone reads the Observer, obviously. So that's why we're allowing people to come in on our platform and talk about this. I've got 2 other parents after you this week that want to come in and talk about their school bus situations, which you're going to probably be like, whoa, you should go back and watch us. Yes. Some of them involving teachers. We've got some teachers coming forward. We got a lot of stuff that's going on that you drop the bomb and walk away, and hopefully they start doing what's right to keep our kids safe. This is horrible. Yeah.
No, our kids are our number one factor. That's the one area we cannot be cutting corners and stopping at gas stations over.
Yeah. I don't know how you were so calm, because I would have been at that gas station or been at that bus driving station raising absolute hell.
Well,
which is rightfully slow if a 7-year-old girl is waiting for a bathroom at a Jiffy.
Well, and that's why when I called, I said, listen, I'm extremely I'm going to try and communicate to you in a professional way at first. You mean if they responded poorly, it would have been...
She is very nice, the one that you talked to, because I've talked to her before, and so did our guest.
Yeah, she's amazing. And then the lady I talked to above her, amazing people. They really are trying. They're really, but
they have not a lot of resources to work with.
No resources to work
and it
with.
sounds like they don't really have the backups from the school or the school boards to help them out with anything, Alan, right? It seems like they're kind of just hanging them out to dry.
Well, the school board doesn't want to take liability for anything, especially since they said they were going to do an audit on the buses and never did.
Well, they did send one picture out showing one elementary bus driver with one person on it. That might have been the only one they did, and they might have thought that justifies we went on every bus. They've obviously missed quite a bit.
Well, one of the nice things about this podcast is that we know that the school board and teachers and other people are actually listening. So, you go up to a school board meeting or at city council or at the city, you get 3 minutes at the podium. Here, you get a half hour, and there's no way to ignore it. We push it out, and we push it out, and that's what needs to be done. Squeaky wheel, gets the grease,
Right.
but we need a lot of grease. We need a
it's for our kids' protection. Like
Exactly.
it's crazy.
And I would love to figure out a way to work with our school board and superintendents. Whatever I can do to help this situation, I'm about. Let me know as a parent how I can help you. Let me know as a business owner how I can help you.
Every parent has sat in here and said the same thing, and you know that none of them have still gotten responses from the school board about issues that are still not resolved.
Well, it's easy to find me if you want to find me and talk to me. I'm pretty much everywhere at this point.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you so much for coming in today. If you hear anything else, our doors are always open, and you'll have to come back on our show for maybe something else that doesn't have to do with buses.
sounds good. Yeah, we'll talk about something fun.
Yeah, I know, right? Nothing that's stressful.
Exactly.
Well, have a great day, and we'll see you next week, folks.